lunch. I'll just try to keep it short. So I have divided my presentation into four parts. The first focuses on the resource potential, then the second on the current scenario, and the third on the systematic just constraints that we have and the way just forward. Starting with Pakistan's resource potential, I would like to focus on solar energy first. I would like to share with you a slide. In 2008 and 2010, the World Bank just conducted a study on the Sun Belt countries of the world, from 35 north to almost about 35 south, almost about 148 countries took part in the study. 66 were just focused on, and Pakistan was given the highest priority in the study. Moving on to the next slide, we'll see that based on that study, NASA then did a study in 2014 for the PV just opportunity mapping, which shows that Pakistan has the second highest solar resource in the just whole world, second only to just India. But on the y-axis, where you see the country investment attractiveness, over there Pakistan slightly suffers. Moving forward, we have just generated some slides using the just NREL spatial tools. The global solar radiation map shows that Pakistan has almost about 5 to 5.5 kilowatt hours per square meter per day, whereas the direct solar radiation map shows almost about 4.5 to 5 kilowatt hours per square meter per day, whereas the tilt solar radiation map of Pakistan shows almost about 6 to 6.5 kilowatt hours per square meter per day, which is one of the highest in the whole world, second only to just India. And if you were to just compare this with the map of Germany given there, the worst of Pakistan's tilted solar radiation is better than twice the just average of Germany. Today, Pakistan has a potential of developing almost about 2.5 billion megawatts, of almost generating 2.5 billion megawatts from solar PV. That is just a hypothetical figure, of course. Moving forward with the wind resource, Pakistan's wind resource, we have the most important wind corridor that you see is right here between Dharo and Chimpi, the region of Thatta and Sindh, where most of our projects lie. But you can also see pockets towards the north, towards the west, which are still to be tapped into. Data is being collected, the governments are trying to tap into these resources, but so far only the region of Dharo and Chimpi have been successful. And that too because the alternative energy board started tapping or taking data from these sites back in 2006, 2007. So we have sufficient data to back these sites. The average speed, the mean speed in this wind corridor is almost about 6.7 to 6.8 meters per second at a hub height of almost about 90 meters. The tariff which has been given by just NEPRA today is based on a capacity factor of 35%. But there are EPC firms and companies which believe that they can give you something higher. The total potential from this wind corridor alone inside Jinbir and Garo is almost about 50,000 megawatts. Moving forward to the hydropower resource of Pakistan, if you see this map, I'm not sure if you can exactly read what's there, but I can just read it out to you. Indus, Jhelum, Swat, Kunhar, Punch, and Kambia and Neelam. All of these combined give Pakistan a potential of almost generating 61,000 megawatts from hydropower alone, from which Indus is the most important and the just largest contributor with 39,717 megawatts. Moving forward to the current status, this is the part 2 of the just presentation, the current status of Pakistan. We have transmission lines. If you just go through this figure, this table, since 2014, just taking the latest figures, we have transmission lines which can accommodate up to almost about 22,570 megawatts, whereas the 220 kV substations on the next slide, which you can see, can accommodate up to 21,600 and just 41 megawatts, whereas the 500 kV substations can accommodate almost about 18,000 megawatts. If you see these figures over there. This is the existing NTDC just network which you can see on the screen. Just moving forward with the installed power just plants across Pakistan, we have almost about 15,000 megawatts of installed capacity for just thermal power, 7,500 just megawatts for hydropower, and almost about 1,000 megawatts for nuclear. Some of these figures have changed in the recent years. For just renewable energy, you can see the second slide. For solar, we have almost about 100 megawatts operational. Three just 100 megawatts has achieved financial close, whereas for wind, we have 308.2 megawatts, which has achieved COD, whereas 477 megawatts has just achieved financial close. Whereas for the just hydropower, 84 megawatts has achieved COD, whereas 1,590 megawatts has achieved financial close. Moving forward with the power sector overview, there is a supply and demand gap. There is a shortage of almost about 4,000 to 5,000 megawatts daily, which sometimes reaches up to 7,000 megawatts. You see, Pakistan to move forward will have to come up with an energy mix in which solar, wind, hydro, gas, oil, and thermal power projects are all used in tandem. And we would need to use them efficiently and take the best out of the system. Pakistan, being blessed with all kinds of resources, needs to make use of all of them in a way which is the most beneficial for it. In Pakistan, we have one of the highest rates of return, 17% IRR based ROE, which is unmatched anywhere else in the world. With separate cover for debt, insurance, O&M, and some other costs. So the tariff that you can expect in Pakistan will be one of the highest in the world. This just shows you the gap that there is, and therein lies the opportunity. Therein lies the opportunity. Wherever you have such issues, wherever you face such just challenges, that is where you have the opportunities. There is ample room for investment inside generation, distribution, and grid expansion upgradation. The Pakistani power sector market has now just matured. In the past, you would not find documents such as IAS, PPAs for solar and wind. But today you have the entire just framework ready. You have the entire process just outlined. You have one of the best policies, which is there in place. So today, if you were to come and invest in Pakistan, you would get an edge over all the other developers which have been here for the past 10 years or so, because all the spade work has now been done. Everything is ready, and you could easily move forward, taking this benefit from all that work which has gone in the past years. Moving forward to part 3 of the presentation, which is about the systematic just constraints that Pakistan faces. The first and foremost, at the heart of the just sort of problem is the stability of the power policies. We need stability. We need to have power policies which are there and stay for longer periods of time. Just coming to the UFT, duration of tariffs, the just upfront tariffs and the just incentives which are then announced by just NEPRA need to be given a longer duration to stay. We cannot have tariffs changing every 6 months. What NEPRA should do is that it should give tariffs in a way which stay for longer and we have a clear idea of how much a company or a project developer can expect to gain by coming to Pakistan. Secondly, the delay in the issuance of LOIs. Just recently, we have been facing this problem. There is a backlog since the past six or 8 months that LOIs are not being issued. But I believe that this is a temporary issue, and most probably the government of Pakistan will solve this soon. Number three, we have hurdles in acquiring land and the tariff. The the most important hurdle that we face while we are acquiring land is that it is a provincial subject. Sindh and Punjab, Balochistan and KPK will have to work with the federal government to be able to make this thing possible, make it more easier for the project developers to be able to acquire land. And the fourth and the most important issue is the grid evacuation. There needs to be massive investment in the infrastructure of the grid to be able to evacuate power and then transmit it to the just distribution companies and the end users. Now just moving forward to part 4, which is Pakistan's way forward. Just to give you an idea of how much things have just improved in Pakistan over the past 10 or just 15 years. In 2005, Pakistan, according to REN, in 2005, Pakistan did not have policies, did not have targets, did not have data for renewable energy. But now coming to 2015, Pakistan is a country right at the forefront. It has targets, it has the policies, it has the data, and it has the will to move forward and install renewable energy inside Pakistan. Now my final slide will just focus on the way forward. We need an integrated policy with a robust energy mix. We must take all these provinces on board. Sindh and just Punjab, KPK, and all of them should play their due role. For example, Sindh can come with wind energy, and KPK can come in with the just hydropower, whereas you can say Punjab can come in with solar and the smaller hydro. Secondly, we would need a simplification of the policy. The current policy that we have, it takes a project developer almost about 31 steps with 5 or 6 sub-steps with like each step to be able to achieve COD, which takes a lot of time. It will take you almost about 2 to 3 years of paperwork before you can reach a stage where you can start implementing your project. The policies need to be simplified. The government needs to somehow find a way to make it easier for the project developers and just the investors to come and set up these power stations. The third point that I would like to make is we would need the devolution of power. Each of the departments, each of the institutions within Pakistan will have to play its part. There is a lot of interconnection today, as has been pointed out by the Honorable CEO today, that most of the bodies are working together. However, we do need a separation of power. We do need to have them working separately, independently. Otherwise, we get into a situation where one body interferes with the work of the other. And that makes it much more difficult for the IPPs to work and function. As a project developer, we face a lot of troubles when we have to meet the just criteria of different departments at the same time. The fourth point that I would like to make is about the transparency, and the fifth that the grid expansion and upgradation is taking place. There is an extensive plan of just NTDC by the name of 2025, which they are working on, but I believe it needs to be opened up to the investors the private sector should have an opportunity to come and invest in the grid and the NTDC infrastructure. Based on the current policy that they have, you could get a similar tariff for setting up your just transmission lines as you would for setting up an IPP. And I believe that that should be encouraged more, and that is where we should be going, because with more and more of just generation coming, we need to have the proper infrastructure to be able to just evacuate that power. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time and patience.
Thank you. And we know very positive messages so far, actually, from the whole morning, and from all the speakers. I would like to ask if there is a comments from your side before I ask the audience if there will be questions. If you would like to say something.
Number of issues, I think, he raised regarding the power policies and its consistency. I think it should be there. And if you compare all the IPP power policies in Pakistan since '94 to date, the incentives, the fiscal incentives, and other options we offer to the sponsor remain the same. So there's no reversal in terms of offering from the government side. So, but we need to establish that power policies should remain uniform and should be predictable. And the second thing you mentioned regarding the tariff tenure, yes, you're right. The tariff tenure must be 1 year ahead, and to matching the global practices right now, 6 months is the less time. We can only advise NEPRA. They may have their consideration for that. They may have their own calculation and statistics, but I think it will be advisable at this stage to the regulator that in order to facilitate the sponsors, there must be a reasonable tenure of the tariff. That's agreed. And then, Habil, you mentioned delays in the issuance of LOI, and then you again raised the issue regarding the grid capacity, limited grid capacity. Actually, these two issues are connected with each other. The slow response with respect to issuance of LOI is pertinent with respect to the grid capacity available right now. There's not much grid capacity available. That's why number of LOIs were issued from the provincial government side, from the federal government side. So that means we need some space, some pause to reconsider these things so that we may match the issuance of LOIs with the availability of the grid space in the grid. So these two issues, actually Pakistan's market, renewable energy market, is maturing with the passage of time. And in future, I think that there must be a balance, there must be a sharp balance with respect to issuance of LOI and whatever the grid capacity available to you. So these two issues are connected with each other. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. I'd like to thank you for your time. I asked the colleagues, our partners from Serena Hotel, to leave the coffee out. As you see, we're like approximately 40 minutes beyond time, but that would be perfectly fine. A couple of announcements, just one more time. As I said, I'll be updating you. 2 of the afternoon speakers will be coming tomorrow, so we will have shorter afternoon program. We're waiting